Hey, junkyard fans. Not what you would call your in the junkyard junk, but I got this 65 Mustang, and I drove it over to a friend's house last night, and it was working perfect. And I came out to go home and hopped in the car, and I have nothing. So I'm going to take a quick look and see if we can figure out what if I lost battery connection or whatever. I just don't have headlights or any ignition or anything. So I'm going to take a quick look. I got my handy dandy Craftsman multimeter, and we'll see if we got anything here. I'm going to just see if I got any voltage at the battery, and we're going to go for volts DC. So I have the 12 volts at the battery, and I have it at the solenoid, and it looks like I have it to the ground, to the 12 volts to the ground. So I have voltage. Looks like it's everywhere it's supposed to be. And why I'm not getting any ignition, I still don't know. We're gonna take a look maybe under the dash. Take a quick look and see if we can see anything at the fuse block. So one thing that I just noticed is when I put the brake light on, or when I put the brakes on, the courtesy lamp goes out. So there maybe is just a little, maybe the battery is just really low, maybe the alternator quit working yesterday when I was driving it around. So I'm just going to try putting jumper cables on. I brought jumper cables with, and I'm going to see what happens if I do that. Maybe I can get it going and just get it home and change out the alternator. I have a feeling that's maybe all that's wrong. I don't have a prop rod for the hood. The hood is an aftermarket fiberglass hood with a metal core, and we have the low tension springs on it, but they aren't quite strong enough to keep the hood up by itself. So one of these days I'm going to try to add a prop rod here to the something on the core support that I can just put up. So anyway, we're going to try jumping it here and see if that helps. Be right with you. Since we have a second here while we're letting the battery charge up, I thought I'd grab a book. I got a couple books here in the back. This is my Shiny in the Shade. Shiny in the Shade. I'll put a link below. And it's 400 pages. It's a psychological thriller. It's kind of got a Halloween vibe to it. And that's the time of year right now. Leaves are falling off the trees here in Minnesota. So if you're up for some fun reading, it's available on Amazon and maybe Barnes & Noble too still. I'm not sure, but I think Amazon has it on sale. So maybe if you're interested in a novel, it's a fun one. So let's give this thing a try, and we'll spin it over, if it'll spin over, and see how it's going with the charging. Now, there I lost my connection on one of the battery cables, I suppose. I'm sure it wouldn't be this clean thing here with this blue corrosion. That's me, Mr. High Maintenance. Yeah, it's just really low. I'm almost wondering, since I drove it here and stopped, I'm almost wondering if something happened with the battery. So I'm gonna let it charge a few minutes and then we'll try it. While we're letting this thing charge up, I may as well show you the car a little bit. It's a 65 Fastback, and I got it as a project car, and there was no motor or tranny in it, and it was an automatic. And I ordered clutch pedals from a guy down in southern Minnesota. I think his name is Fastback Jack, and he had pedals for me, and I had a Borg Warner 4-speed laying around that I had kind of saved for years, so I put that 4-speed in it. And the body was really solid and in nice shape. The pinch welds for the doors were really nice. It had had a tiny bit of rust on the car, but very, very little. The reason I think it survived so well is the guy's sister, I believe, owned it that I got it from, and it had had an engine fire, carb fire, and when we got it, the hood that was with it, or I think it was on it still, was, you know, real bubbled up and warped. So his story was it sat in a garage for 25 years. That's a, you know, not a typical thing to have happen to a car that's kind of this cool. I think it's cool anyway. Now, it was a real black Fastback with red interior, but it wasn't a GT, but he had bought some of the GT stuff, emblems for it, so I went ahead and you know, kind of did that. Let's put the GT gas cap and stuff on, and then the exhaust usually has trumpets on these ears, but I never was fond of that, so I just went with the straight looking pipes coming out, trim pipes. And I don't know, fold down rear seat, which maybe all of the 65 Fastbacks had. In this state, maybe not just this state, but everywhere, there's always seems to be a issue with mice when you're storing them, and I of course store this over the winter, and so I have some mouse poison in it, and I, you know, try to put a new one in every fall, and those little packets for deterring them. Damn rodents. The engine in it is 302 out of a 71 Mustang, that I happen to still own, and I have owned since like 1975 or 1976, I think. I got it when I was in high school. Never sold it. It was a Grande, and you know, in general, they weren't super popular, so it never really was worth all that much money. I didn't think it would change my finances, so I never sold it. And I enjoyed it, and we had a lot of fun in it. And I have that kind of fixed up and still have a lot of fun in it. So anyway, we'll give it a try here and see if it can go. It doesn't sound very good. I have a manual choke on it. It's alive. That's a good feeling. So I guess what we'll do is we'll see if the alternator's putting out any juice. It should be up around 14. It's a little cold-blooded even with the choke, and it's kind of touchy where you put the choke. It's not any heat wave this morning. I got this jacket on. Yesterday it was 82 or 4 degrees here in Minnesota, and now today it's going to be like 60. So, well, it's idling. We'll see if it's putting out 14 volts. It's usually when they're charging, it should be around 14. So it is charging. I have 14. So that's pretty strange that it was dead. I don't understand that. Maybe something like the voltage regulator was stuck or doing something goofy. But looks like it's good to go. I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'll drive it around some and let it charge up, and I'll put it in the garage and then maybe try it tonight or tomorrow and see what it's doing. So anyway, I'm feeling pretty good about the fact that it's putting out 14 volts alternator and that I got it going here. I had to leave it here overnight, and I don't, you know, it's kind of one of those cars. I'm not saying it's super valuable, but you know, it's worth a couple bucks, and I hate leaving them out overnight and right along a highway, a main highway, where people could come along and mess with it or something. I don't think anyone would steal it. Maybe if you let it sit long enough days. It's not like Chicago. The car has a good battery, and I was just at the mechanic shop with the Mustang after leaving his place, and it seemed weird because the gauge in the car was like 16 volts. It was really charging hard, so I wanted to stop and talk to him a little bit about it. And he brought his multimeter out, kind of like the one I had, and he had me shut it off and try to start it again, and the battery went right down to 9 volts. He just said, your battery is total junk. So even though it was like only 3 years old, and it was working great yesterday, a plate or something, and it must went bad. So I'm gonna see if this car will start. It's been sitting here a while hooked up. I'm hoping it hasn't, that it's held its charge. This is a Caliber. Oh yeah, so this battery's dead also. That's nice. I think it's maybe not my lucky day. I got the Dakota doing the work on this one now. So these jumper cables, they're definitely getting a workout today. I am hoping this thing will go now. I let it charge about 2-3 minutes, which isn't very long, but if this battery isn't totally shot, it shouldn't take a lot. I do have lights here, I see. Oh yeah, there we go, huh? Let it charge up a few minutes, and then I'm gonna pull it and take it to town and throw it in that Mustang and see how it fares in that. All right, so I'm switching out the battery here. I'm gonna try this Duralast. Considering that it was dead out in that Caliber, I'm not real confident that it's gonna last at all, but we're gonna give it a try, and if I have to jump it to get it home, I'll take the bad battery back to the store where it came from and see if they have some warranty on it yet. I think it's about 3 years old. I should still have some warranty on it. It wasn't the cheap battery, so it should be, you know, maybe it's like a 5-year one or something. I haven't looked yet, but I guess my hold down for this thing is out at the farm yet, so we'll just chance it here and give it a try, see what we got. Yeah, dead. Not really my day here. So I don't even know if it's worth jumping. It should just about go to town and exchange that other battery and put that in right now. But maybe I will at least get this to my house so it's not sitting here in front of the mechanic shop waiting to get a door ding. That would be wouldn't make my day any better. Hey, Junkyard fans. I went to town and I exchanged the battery. They tested it to see if they would give me credit, and what they said is they hooked up their load tester to it, and it came back as 3 cold cranking amps out of 580. So they gave me about $50 credit on another battery, and I got that in there. And as you can see, I have a bungee for a hold down. Now that wasn't the plan. I went to the farm and I looked for my new hold down that I had bought for this car. I can't find it. So instead, I'm going to do the bungee, and then we're going to go out and exercise this Mustang just a little bit. And we might run through the gears a little bit, but we're not going to go over 60 or 55. We don't want to get a ticket. We don't, you know, we want to stay legal. That's me, Mr. Legal. Time to buckle up.